I want to segue into something I read about you about your pet projects. I forgot where I read it. It may have been on your site. And there's two of them that I want to talk about. It says one of them is around using big data tools to look at search. Talk a little bit about that. What did you mean by that?
Dude, I love the opportunity to look at an industry. It's like such a privilege. It's my job. I get to look at this industry and go, I've been at this since 1999. So I'm on my 25th year this August. And to have an opportunity and a platform to be like, where are we all maybe getting things wrong? I think our industry is woefully underprepared for the amount of processing power data you're going to need to be able to truly understand the amount of unique queries that people are going to be putting into Google. You know, the tools that we use today, SEMrush, whatnot, like, dude, you should see, like, I'll take a paid search query report, which gives me every query I showed up for, and I'll compare it to what SEMrush has in their database, and I'll be like, oh, they only have 10% of all the things that my customers searched for. And what does SEMrush get? Well, the big words. It's the longer tail, that query that's only searched for 5 times, 10 times, maybe a month or a year. And like, once you start to put that much data in a spreadsheet, it's going to break. People need to elevate their game. They got to get it out of spreadsheets, get it into BigQuery, get it into, Tableau, Power BI. You got to really be able to crunch that data down. And then you're going to move into LLMs, where every query is a MSV of 1. Every query is an MSV of 1 in an LLM world. Why? Because we can talk in our natural language. We can add things like, what's a great CRM for a company under 5 people with blah, 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 blah. Query of 1. So now all of a sudden, you don't have less sales. You don't have less people in the marketplace looking for CRMs. The problem is to try to amalgamate them into groups. It's going to be super difficult. So I've loved the process of looking at my paid search data and my organic data together to really understand how long is that long tail. And like, if you don't know how to process that, like, I got you, because everybody's got freaking the same access to SEMrush and Hrefs, bro. It's like, I'm able to see 90% of queries that you don't even look at because you don't partner with your paid search team. So I'm going to find that stuff out super early. I got the tools to dig through that data and surface that data for me instantly. And you don't see it. That kind of stuff is super fun.
It's fascinating. I mean, it really is. And to hear that stat you threw out about 10% of SEMrush compared to what you see, that's staggering.
Bro, it's crazy. I looked at a client once and looked at the number of conversions that they had, actual conversions from paid, right? Leads. And I said, if I take all the search terms that drove leads for this client, SEMrush only had 50% of the keywords in their database. You're like, holy smokes, half of the words that drove volume of leads for me, SEMrush doesn't even have. Like, that's crazy. It's half your leads. SEMrush has a version of that word maybe, but not those little things that people added in, right? And because I'm using my paid search queries, I'm bringing them in every day. So if something new changes in the world and people start using new words, SEMrush is reporting a 0 MSV on that. It doesn't exist. There's no volume. Why would you go after a keyword with no volume? My favorite report in the world to run is a search term report where SEMrush says you have 0 search volume or 10 searches a month, and I have more conversions than SEMrush says I have search volume. You're like, how could I have more conversions than searches? Yeah. That stuff is fun, bro.
You just hit on it. You said if people start using new words, they will.
It's inevitable. And I think LLMs are going to make it 1,000 times worse. It's MSV of 1. Every one of those queries is so freaking unique that how are you going to keep up? I know how I'm going to keep up. I'm going to look for like every paid search query that includes the word for at the end. Why? Because these LLMs are teaching us to be like, put in a role, put in your use case. Like, I am a this, and I'm for this, right? So now I'm starting to be like, that'd be like, if I want to understand how people are going to search on LLMs, if the LLMs like Bing right now are starting to play around with autocomplete to make, so the problem with LLMs is a lot of people don't know how to use them. So therefore they get bad answers. And when they get bad answers, they blame Google or Bing, right? So Google and Bing have an incentive to create autocompletes on your prompts so that they kind of nudge you in a direction that'll make you more likely to get a better answer. When you look at what Bing is doing with autocomplete, you go, oh, they're saying you should do this thing for your use case. So now I'm taking a client's keyword, let's say it's CRM. For is the word I'm looking for in all their paid queries. And I'm looking at all the different ways that customers are saying, I don't just want a CRM, I want a CRM for these different use cases. And I go, aha, that's like how people are going to start searching on LLMs. Do I see 4 keywords growing more over time? If yes, then maybe my customers are there more, right? So it's stuff like that. It's just really fun, but you cannot do that with the current set of tooling that exists. And like, to pull out 10 keywords, 20, 100, 1,000, because it's not going to be enough.
Hey, I'm the guy from the video you just saw. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Now do yourself a favor. If you haven't already, subscribe to our content. Believe it or not, unconfirmed rumors and reports, you will see an increase in 20% in organic traffic just by subscribing. Okay, maybe not, but it's fun, right? But do yourself a favor, really. Subscribe to our content. You won't be sorry. Thanks.